Hi everyone, welcome to MakerFun powered by Brilliant Labs. I'm Nellie, and I'm so glad you could be here today. Listen. Did you hear that? Sounds. Today we're going to explore the world of sounds, how they're made, how we hear them, and what they can mean. You're about to hear author Shantae Grant read her exciting book, The City Speaks in Drums. This story follows two boys from the north end of Halifax, Nova Scotia, as they walk about discovering different sounds in their multicultural city. As you listen to the story and look at the pictures, think about the different sounds that you hear in the city through the author's words. Are you ready to listen? The City Speaks in Drums.
The City Speaks in Drums, a story by Shantae Grant, with illustrations by Susan Took.
Young child runs stick cross fence near basketball courts. Hear young brothers dribbling, gripping the ball with they grip, then pass with a whip. Whip quick round jerseys and then pull back, release up and in. Ball whips through rim. Bounce twice on ground, and sound reverberates through air. Bounces off rec center's brick. Schoolyard kids scuffing earth with they kicks, playing tricks, gaming games, running up and down the block, whip water pistols round, drenching each other up to their necks. Trigger release them water jets. Press on arms, waist to legs, water beats drums cross they chest, no room to rest. Adrenaline pumping like a storm inside they one. Young childs run, calling to each other in song. I'm gonna catch ya, sings one, and 1 + 1, laughing. They little feet perumpa-pum-pum like little drummer boys drum. Cross Dixon Field, jet past Squaretown barbecues, beneath gold rays and rainbow hues, skies of blues. Run up Godigan past Joe's, round the corner at Kennard Street, few more blocks to the Armory, come to light and yield. Then cross to the Commons Field, run on Earth, race round Tree, and me, see all this, hear all this, embrace city's vibe and wrap myself in her rhyme. The city's drum beats from many directions. One such, Spring Garden and South Park intersection. Man with spoons taps rhythms on the corner. Passer-by drop dimes, nickels, and quarters. Down the street, homemade drum set drummer jams outside the bank. Saxophones spit rhythms, singers verse licks. Musicians caress the gits with precision. And just in front the library at the end of the street, knotty dreadlocks whip air to the beat of the djembe. Eardrum bound. More music, more sound. More music, more sound. Beatboxing on the corner, song sung round the way. Word is bond spitting verses from the High Life Cafe. What they say? Spoken word permeating city ways with words, rhythms, and sounds. Accents and rhythms seep into selves. Poppin' and lockin', hip-hoppin' on the waterfront. The city speaks in drums. The city speaks in drums. She is a soulful singer. Her melodies linger, pressing sweet beats on my bones. Her lyric has no form. Her melodies are free. She got free verse in her earth, and sound rides on her wind. She is drumfest and kumbah, pipes and drums, religious meetings and masses, music classes, Latin dances, jazz and blues, international tattoos, quick beats and mellow tones. The city's drum is a heart and a soul and a mind all its own.
Basketball beats, the sounds of feet, the city's heat, the musicians' treats. Are these the same sounds you hear where you live? What sounds are in your neighborhood or community? What sounds would you use to create your own book about sounds? What is your sound story? Here's Lauren to teach us about sound waves using a slinky.
This is a slinky. Aside from being a fun toy, it's also a helpful tool in a lot of cool science activities. One thing they are really good for is showing what a wave looks like. In air, sound waves travel by making the air particles bunch together in areas called compressions and spread apart in areas called rarefactions. You can see those move across the slinky when I push one end in. We can also picture a sound wave like this. Here, it's easier to see the different features of a sound wave. Notice how far up and down the slinky is moving. That is called the wave's amplitude, and it tells us the volume of the sound. The higher the amplitude, the louder the sound. Now you can see more than one bump on the slinky. The number of waves created every second is called the frequency. The frequency of a wave tells us about the pitch of its sound. The higher the frequency, the higher the sound is.
Thanks, Lauren. We'll check back in with you later to see what you're making today.
The ear can be divided into three main areas: the outer ear, that we can all see, the middle ear, and the inner ear. When sound travels through the air, it's like waves, and these waves travel and create a vibration when they come in contact with our eardrum. A vibration, just like when we play a drum. This translates into nerve pulses. Our eardrum acts as a protection for the middle ear from dirt, water, and anything that shouldn't be in your ear. The ossicles, or ear bones, receive those vibrations. These three little bones amplify the sound, and this sends sound waves to the inner ear and to the cochlea. The cochlea changes the sound into a signal for our brain. Eustachian tubes help keep air pressure at the right level. Have you ever had to pop your ears? That's just air pressure. And that's the ear.
Now let's head over to Gracie and Emily to see and hear what they have made.
Hi again, everyone. Thanks for joining us in another fun maker project. Today, Emily and I wanted to explore sound and share how to make a really fun and simple instrument called a sound sandwich. My dad and I always made these when I was younger, and on top of being super fun to play with, they taught me a lot of things about how sound works. Let's get started. For this activity, you'll need craft sticks, elastics, 2 narrow ones and a thick one, a pair of scissors, and a straw cut into shorter pieces. You may have to get an adult to help you with the cutting.
Stretch the wide elastic from one end of a craft stick to the other. Do your best to center the elastic on the stick. Now grab your straw and cut 2 pieces just a bit wider than the craft stick. Put 1 piece of straw between the sticks at one end. Wrap an elastic around the end of the stick just past the straw. Now do the same at the other end of the sound sandwich. There you have it, a finished sound sandwich.
These are so cool. But how do these work exactly? Well, to understand this, we first have to think about what a sound is. Sounds are basically vibrations that can travel through different things like the air, wooden table, water in a pool, or even elastics. We call these vibrations sound waves.
If a sound comes from something like an instrument, we can hear it because the vibration that it makes will travel through the instrument into the air and reach our ears.
In this case, when we blow into the sound sandwich, the air from our mouth vibrates the elastic. These vibrations will cause the air around our instrument to vibrate as well. The sound waves then travel through the air and reach our ears, and we can hear them.
If we wanted to make music with our sound sandwich, though, we would need to figure out how to make different sounds or notes.
We discovered that if we blow fast or slow, it changes the notes that we can make. When we think about sound in this way, we can use words like pitch to describe the sound that our instrument makes. We say that a higher note is a higher pitch and a lower note is a lower pitch. When we were experimenting with how fast we were blowing, we found that when we blew fast, our sound sandwich made a higher pitch sound, and it made a lower pitch sound when we blew slowly. This is because when we blow faster, the elastic vibrates faster, or at a higher frequency, and makes a higher pitched sound.
We wanted to take this a bit further, so we put a shorter elastic on another sound sandwich to see if when the elastic is tighter, it changes the sound. When we did this, the shorter, tighter elastic made a higher pitched note. Again, this is because the tighter elastic will vibrate faster than the looser one, making a higher pitched sound.
Thanks everyone for joining us as we explore sound and make fun instruments. Happy music making and stay brilliant!
Speaking of making musical instruments yourself, let's check out these students who are making traditional Maliseet drums in New Brunswick.
Listen carefully to this drum beat. What does it remind you of? It sounds like a heartbeat, doesn't it? To me, as an Indigenous person, the drum is a reminder of life, of our heartbeat, and of a mother's heartbeat. the first sound a baby feels when still inside its mom. Like the mother's heartbeat, the drum is soothed into a baby. After a baby is born, they will often relax and sleep when a drum is played. Indigenous drums are used to help people feel better and to get rid of bad energy around you. Drums help us concentrate, and they can bring you peace. When you are drumming, it makes you more aware of what is around you, and it brings you closer to nature. Actually, you use your entire brain when drumming, so it makes you smarter. Before making a drum, we smudge the work area and everything we will use to make it. This is to clear your mind and your heart so that only positive energy and spirit go into the drum. Then we give thanks to the animal who has given his skin to be used for the top of the drum. The sound of the drum changes if the skin is thicker, like a buffalo hide, or thinner, like a deer hide. You can also change the sound by where you tap or hit the drum. Tapping in the middle makes a higher pitch, and tapping around the outside gives a lower pitch. When making the top of the drum, it is important to keep the skin or hide moist so it won't crack while you are cutting it or stretching it across the drum frame. If it is too dry, we add a bit of water. If it is too wet, we turn to nature and let it dry in the sun. Other parts of the animal are used to make the drum, as you see in the video. We are careful not to waste anything, and this is the animal's gift to us, and we are very thankful. Our drums are used for many reasons, like to welcome people as part of ceremonies and to provide music for dancers. In Wolastoqey and Mi'kmaq cultures, the hand drum can be played by anyone of any age. The big drum is meant to be played by men only, as traditionally the women would form a circle around the male drummers to protect them from any harm that may come up behind them. Drums are sacred to Indigenous peoples and are often given as special gifts to those who have earned that honor.
Those drums look amazing. Speaking of drums, Drum is a production that shares the history of drumming in 4 Nova Scotian cultures: Mi'kmaq, Acadian, Celtic, and African Nova Scotian. In this clip, you'll see and hear drums being played by all 4 of these cultures. Here's Ken to tell us more about drumming in African Nova Scotian culture.
Wow, did you hear that? Today we're going to explore how the djembe, a drum played in Africa and in African Nova Scotia communities, makes the sounds that you hear. When a drum is played, the top of the drum vibrates or shakes. This causes the air around it to move. That moving air creates a sound wave that eventually gets to your ears. These drums can be made to speak loudly, like when you yell, and speak softly, like when you whisper. When you speak loudly or softly, you're changing the volume of your words. If a drum is hit hard, it will make strong vibrations that change the volume to create a louder sound. If the drum is hit more gently, it will make weaker vibrations that change the volume to make a quieter sound. African drums are used to call our community together. We play them to help celebrate events such as a baby being born or a special person like an elder is going to speak at a gathering. We also play drums to show respect for someone in our community who passes away. The song I'm playing today was used in Africa to announce the arrival of royalty. The big bass sound comes from the bottom of the drum. It sent vibrations through the ground to the drummer in the next village. That drummer would let the community know that a special guest is coming and could announce them by using their drum. That is the powerful sound of the African drums.
Have you heard of the traditional Acadian instrument, the spoons? Check this out. Let's check back in with Lauren. She's got another instrument you can make at home.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren. Have you ever played an instrument? Think about what sounds you can make with that instrument and how you can change those sounds. With my ukulele here, I make sound by plucking a string, and I can change that sound by tightening the strings and by using this part called the fretboard. Sound is made when something vibrates, which means it moves back and forth really fast. And pitch is how high or low that sound is, and it can be changed in a few different ways. One way to change pitch is by changing how tight a string is. When a string gets tightened, it's harder for it to move back and forth when it's vibrating, so its vibrations get smaller. Since it isn't moving as far, it's able to vibrate more times every second. The vibrations a string make every second are related to its frequency, and frequency is related to pitch. If frequency goes up, pitch goes up. If frequency goes down, pitch goes down. So if you tighten a string, since frequency goes up, pitch goes up. And when you loosen a string, pitch goes down. Another way to change frequency is to change the length of a string. When you make a string shorter, frequency goes up. When you make a string longer, frequency goes down. With my ukulele, I change frequency by pressing down on a string. When I press down on this part of the string, only this part is able to vibrate. So the string gets shorter and the pitch gets higher. But you don't need to buy an instrument to make music. There are loads of different ways that you can make one. Right now, we're going to make this instrument using a tissue box, pencils, tape, and elastic bands. By taping the pencils in place for the elastics to lay on, they are able to vibrate freely and make clear sounds. The idea of changing tightness and size of strings to change pitch was discovered and used by different people at different times all over the world, and led to some really cool instruments being created. Some examples are the lyre from Greece, the kora from West Africa, the harp from Mesopotamia and Egypt, the sitar from India, and the piano from Italy. I think it's really cool that even though these instruments were all invented separately, they're still connected in how the music is made. Try using these ideas at home to make your own music.
Thanks, Lauren. That looks like fun. And I can't believe you could play a real tune. When it comes to the science of sound, my favorite part is visualizing the waves. Short waves sound quieter, and tall waves sound louder. That's the amplitude. Wide waves sound lower, and skinny waves sound higher. That's the frequency. When you make the waves very wide and very tall, so as big as you can get them, something pretty cool happens. The vibrations get so big, you can feel them with your hands through a speaker. And if you put water on the speaker, you can see the vibrations push at it so hard that it splashes. Check this out. In one of our first episodes, Gracie made oobleck. That's a weird liquid made out of cornstarch and water that acts solid if you put force on it and acts liquid when you take the force away. When you pour this oobleck onto a speaker, playing very wide, very loud vibrations, 40 hertz if you're trying it at home, something really special happens. Each vibration from the speaker hits the oobleck and puts force on it, turning it into a solid. But then it removes the force between vibrations, letting the oobleck turn liquid again. The vibrations keep coming at a regular speed, and the oobleck gets bounced back and forth between becoming a solid and becoming a liquid. This makes a weird phenomenon where it looks like it's coming to life. Definitely ask a grown-up if you want to try to make these oobleck monsters come to life at home. It gets very messy, and oobleck and water can damage a speaker if you're not very careful. Allow me to present Diane and her students. They're playing a traditional Maliseet song in 3 languages about the Wooloostook River, or the St. John River. Thanks so much for exploring sounds with us today. I hope you were making right along with us. I'd like to thank everyone who helped us with this episode, everyone who sent us videos, and played a key role in making it all happen. But most of all, thanks to you for joining us. Stay brilliant. I'll see you next time.